over your testing in general. So some of the things that I took observation on, there's some areas of work and some areas that were, pretty well outstanding. Like physically, everyone was pretty on par today. I would still like to see a little bit more on some of the cardiovascular side of things. Being able to move those jumping jacks a little faster, run in place a little bit more. But cardiovascular was the only downside. But outside of that, your calisthenics in general is actually pretty well. Okay, pretty, very acceptable for a black belt standard. Your material, as far as delivering your material, I would like to be able to see more assertiveness when you deliver the technique. Even if it's slow, there should be absolute confidence behind what you're doing. And I can see that some of us had to kind of go back in the think tank and was like, that's it. Right? And you're kind of like generally waiting for everyone else and trying to move ahead of everyone else. So it's like, that's exactly what I was doing, so it was like one of those. But outside of that, that just leads to taking the time to do more repetition. Now here's the key. In your training, Kung Fu, its literal translation, if you wanted to kind of break it down even further, everybody in the room probably already knows that it means hard work. But what it really means is that it's an acquired, cultivated skill throughout time. So Kung Fu literally means that you have acquired a skill because of the amount of time and energy and effort that you have put into it. So the better the skill, the more energy and effort and time that you usually have to do. However, there's a loophole to that. And the small loophole is that most of the time when you're training, you do not need more time, you need more intensity. Now, intensity, let's kind of, broad stroke it a little bit more. Most people will just, okay, I just need to take it up. Well, you can either take up the actual intensity of it, like the amount of energy output that it takes. Sometimes it's your focus, right? You need to have a more intense focal point. So I'm really making sure that my shoulders are in alignment, right? I'm just not quickly trying to go through it a bunch of times, right? Then I'm going to focus on every movement being in alignment, crisp, sharp. It's all there, right? So, no three. Right? Okay, I got to get this a little straight. Ooh, there it is, right? So sometimes when you train at home, you're really working on the self-discovery of you. Okay, you're trying to like debug yourself. Right? What are my weaknesses? What are my strengths? And how can I balance those out together? So that way you can be balanced and neutral. I believe outside of that, everything was okay. The hands portion, okay, I did see more effort for offensive and defensive nature this time around. So that was actually a really good thing. I would like to see more fundamentals. And part of some of the curriculum we'll have coming out in 2013 will help out with that drastically. But outside of that, for your own personal practice, take the time to really learn to use your material. Even if it's one thing, right? That one thing will open up a world of opportunity for you. And I can't stress to you enough how important it is that, to train it. Because a lot of times people, on a self-defense side, for those of you that are, getting in more of the combative / like fighter side of it, like that's more your forte, you'll see that it's going to be more of a necessity, right? Because that's what you're just kind of all about. For those of you, which should be all of you, just looking to acquire some basic self-defense skills, just acquire one thing at a time. That's it. It's like you're building a giant Lego self-defense castle, right? You just don't start slamming everything. You take the pieces that you need, put it together, make a nice frame, make a nice shape. And if you want to make it bigger and better and sexier, then you add a few more pieces, right? And that's what you do, right? But if you're at a minimum, just this, you'll be surprised how this will save you. But it's getting this to work, right? Taking the time to actually, okay, all right, he's going to punch at me 100 times today. And I have to catch all 100 with just this hand. And then I change. 100 times. Okay, you gotta do things like that every once in a while. Okay, come on to this side for me, sir. And you're sitting on the floor. I know, I should be like, can you give me the timer, please? You know, where's the rope? I'll give you a rope.